I think almost everybody should have the right to own and carry any firearm they wanted to, any firearm they could afford. With this view, am I able to see something bad or negative about owning firearms? Let's find out. I recommend everybody here in Europe to go out and register in some rifle club and get the license to own a firearm, and then you go out and buy a firearm. However, this recommendation comes with a warning. You see, my wife purchased a couple of rifles some time ago. In the course of, I think, 4 months, she bought 4 different rifles, or rather 3 rifles and a shotgun, 2 22 caliber, 1 bolt action Czech, a CS something, CZ, sorry, 1 Browning pump action 22, 1 side-by-side 12-go shotgun, and a CZ 223 Remington bolt action rifle, all for hunting or target practice. And then after she had purchased the last of these firearms, the police showed up at our door. That would be, they didn't identify as policemen, they just started shooting at our door and then started to use a ram to smash the door. And eventually, when that didn't succeed, French doors are pretty tough, they smashed a window and then they came in through the window of the door. And only then did they identify as policemen. Which is kind of problematic, especially if you have firearms. Because if I hadn't seen myself with my own eyes that these guys were policemen, maybe we would have defended ourselves, right? Because maybe they were terrorists. Maybe there were some hired guns. How could we know? They didn't identify as policemen. And then, of course, you can always think, well, maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe they wanted us to start shooting at them. You know, to get rid of us. And they were able to do that because my wife, not even me, I was the dissident here, but I was just married to a person with the firearms. And this is what gave them the excuse to do this. Had my wife not owned these firearms, the judge that allowed them to come to our house to arrest us would not have allowed them to do it that way. Which, incidentally, he didn't, even when we had firearms. He told them to arrest us in the most gentle way possible. And they didn't tell the judge that my wife was pregnant. You know, it's complicated. But you see my point here. Here in Europe, you have an occasional killing with a firearm, but the vast majority of people killing others with firearms are criminals killing other criminals. And of course they do it with illegal firearms. So if you have firearms because you think you're going to protect your family, you know, criminals don't just show up at some random house and start shooting people. The only armed men who will point guns at you and who will come to your house are people sent by the authorities, policemen. And you can't use firearms to defend yourself against that threat. And if you do defend yourself, you're going to get killed because the policemen have more firepower, better training, they're probably more skilled, they outnumber you, they have pretty much limitless resources. So you're going to get yourself killed, and probably your family too, if you try to defend yourself. And there's the problem. You don't really know when you need to defend yourself. Are these guys there to shoot you? And if they're not, and you take pick up your rifle and defend yourself, then you're going to get killed anyway. And if you don't have firearms, they are at least less likely to be able to approach you that way. That seems to be enough. Seems to be good enough reason for the authorities to come there and harass you, scare the crap out of your children, traumatize your children, even traumatize you, really. So, I recommend that you go out there and get some firearms for yourself. But, like I said, that's a recommendation with a warning. Might cause some potential trouble. And if you get into that type of trouble, don't use the firearms to defend yourself against the authorities. It's a lose-lose situation for you if you do. And I realize that the situation might change, and that in the future we might face different threats. But right now, this is the reality. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.